ladies, home studio enthusiasts, bedroom DJs, beat makers. Alright, I just want to show you a little trick, and it'll take 1 second. Righto. So, I wanted to have LED lighting in the studio, and like most of you, you would probably want LED lighting in your studio because it looks so futuristic. And so the idea is, when you do put up LEDs, they should follow the contour of something. Certainly here, these LEDs are following the contour of the shelf. You can see when I turn it on though, yes, there's a bank of LEDs, and yes, it does make my studio look nicer, and yes, I can see better what I'm doing down here because everything's well lit now. But what you'll also notice, it looks kind of gross. If you look directly at it, you get these little dots, and then you get little dots in front of your eyes. Also, it doesn't really look, it's too overwhelming. You know, like it doesn't really look like it's in the right position, because we can see all the little dots, and personally I don't want to see them. They're distracting, and I think, you know, the whole point of a lot of things I did in here, such as the grey in the background, is to stop my distractions or limit my distractions. Keeping the top of the desk empty, that's also to limit my distractions. So if I have to look up and see this, it's overwhelming because you can see it's brighter than the screen. So if I look up for a second, you know, sort of like dazzles me, and that's not a very nice feeling, because it distracts me from what I'm trying to do. And what I'm not trying to do is make the studio look better. So check this out. It's a simple thing. It's not even, I mean, it's not technical. It's called baffling. But anyway, you can just get a piece of wood that's a tiny bit longer than the bit of LED that you put up. And, you know, like I've used a glue gun with mine, so there's bits of hairs and things. They're not really hairs, they're bits of glue gun. When I pull it away, it makes a string. But it's all secure now. I just take this piece of wood, which I have sanded, by the way. I've got an electric sander, and I sanded the wood down so that I wouldn't see little bits of shavings along the edges. It had happened previously where I had this piece of wood up here before, and it distracted me that I would see the rough cut nature of the timber highlighted against this brilliant LED backdrop. But now you can't see that anymore. There are no barbs, there's no spikes, there's no rough edges to take my attention away. In fact, I don't even notice that it's there, even though it's already in place. It's perfect. I'm only going to use 3 screws because, to be completely honest, it's not a load-bearing piece of wood. It's a cover. It's just a facade. But it is the #1 trick to make your LED lights look better. It really is. So all you got to do is hide your LEDs and just show the reflection of the LED. Show the effect of it. That's all you really want to see anyway. You don't need to see the light directly, you only need to see the result of that lamp. I'm even using the exact same holes as before. perfect. Turn off the main light. Now we have an LED array which is not taking all of your attention and focus. Now what you're really looking at is the effect of the light and the result of the light. That's my number one tip, John Green, in the home studio. If you're putting in LED lights, put a baffle or something in front of the lights and automatically it looks more elegant. You don't need to put up the baffle. You don't need to put up something to hide your LEDs, but it will look cheap and ugly. The thing is, we only need to see the light. We know that LEDs are cheap forms of lighting, so we only want to see the result. And I always choose warm white. I choose warm white because personally I think that the human eye prefers to look at that for a longer period of time. Cool white, or just white, may be a little cold, a little sharp, and this kind of reminds me almost of the 70s a little bit. How it's sort of not brown but an amber light yellow. But check this out too. Even when I film on my lamp here, I've got a sort of yellow amber cloth, so I like that shade of light. I find it humanizing. Alright, that's my number one tip for LED lights. Thanks for checking it out. My name's John Green. Leave a comment if you're doing things with your LEDs. Personally, I think LEDs are the way to go, also because they use very little electricity. They produce very little heat, and then you can also focus your lighting to where your eyes are looking, instead of focusing your lights up high like in a kitchen or something to make it look real fancy. In the studio case, you probably want to focus your lights lower and closer to the machines you're going to be using, because late at night I forget about everything except what's lit, and maybe you're the same way. Alright, John Green, more bass, more beats. This is More Bass Workspace. Thanks for tuning in. See you very soon.